Welcome back to my channel, and today we're taking a look at Dakar the Desert Rally. Now this game is from 2022, pretty large community, a lot of mixed reviews on Steam. Apparently this game, which is made in Unreal Engine, has got a little bit of performance issues here and there. Obviously there's two camps. One says everything's absolutely fine and peachy, and other people, including console users, say, well, it is rather unplayable. So, you know, go figure which one is in the right. Considering that the game is made in Unreal Engine and is trying to push itself with DirectX 12 API, I would want to say that probably both of them are right. Now the game, I wouldn't say that the requirements are too crazy. Minimum GPU is a GTX 1050 Ti with at least 4 GB of video memory, and recommended GPU is an RTX 2070 with at least 8 GB of video memory. Now we do have 4070 Ti, as you know, so we're going to be maxing this game out and we're going to have a look-see how it goes. So when it comes to us, we're going to go with full screen native 4K. Everything is set up on Epic. The game is running off from NVMe drive, so I hope the loading issues and stutters might not be present, but pro tip, they are present. I actually tried to kind of get the grips with reality how to play this game, hence the level 2. This game does support DLSS Super Resolution and Frame Gen. Obviously these options are off just to see the raw performance of the game, but I do believe if you have an option to use DLSS, probably this might be the title to do it in 4K resolution essentially. NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency is disabled, and that's all there is. Now, talking about this game, MSI Afterburner is right hand side. I did launch this game. I've played 2 races, and honestly there is a little bit of a stutter when you cross the checkpoints. The game physics are pretty solid. It does offer 3 separate tiers: sport, professional, and pretty much like simulation, which for seasoned players, if you played Richard Burns, if you go for Assetto Corsa, you know, the driving setup, you probably will enjoy this game as well. So let's take it for another spin, because my spin was just to make sure that everything runs and records smoothly, and we're gonna try to go through the same locations as it was before. As you can see, my car is a pile of scrap, so we kinda need to really go for it here. Let's try to pick one of the locations. I've just did the car qualifications, because it does take us through different locations. I did manage to get lost. It's very easy, so definitely play with an audio on, and keep an eye on those frames for me, because I will be too busy not to completely crash and burn within the first 10 yards to notice where I'm actually going. So yeah, let's just take this and we're just gonna go for it. Overall, I do like the visual aesthetic of the game, all things considered. So we're just gonna repair everything so we can crash it all again. We are having an e-tron Audi, obviously, which probably will be a good choice for us. I don't know. The sounds are kinda nice in the game, to be fair, even for the vehicle of my choice. It was kinda sounding like an electrical vehicle without, you know, too much over saturated noises or very annoying same pitched engine noise as the majority of the games have. But yeah, keep an eye on those frames and we're gonna talk a little bit more perhaps. The control scheme for the game is weird. You use WSD for it, which I guess is the new normal, but who knows. The game does have multiple DLCs, and the devs are supposedly listening to what the fans are saying, so I would want to say it's not too bad overall. You do have multiple camera types. You can switch for inside, outside, and very far offside from the vehicle. So I would say that's something that, you know, everyone can find their favorite stuff. And it gets a little bit confusing when you set your camera like this. So what we have with the frames, you can see we are kind of struggling a little bit, give or take. Sub 60 instantly because of the big dust cloud. Now, I would want to say that probably this game would be better played with vertical sync on, and if possible with the DLSS. But at the same time, I don't know, it's kind of, whenever I see an Unreal Engine game in DirectX 12, I go like, oh damn, here we go again. And for the most part, it's kind of down to the way the game is optimized or made. Now, the devs of this game has released a multitude of patches, but the one thing that really kind of piques my interest is the moment when I see console players and PlayStation 5, specifically users, saying that the performance is not there, because there's very little you can say to one of the newest generation consoles having issues with the game. But then again, you know, this is a relatively large game. You know, it's an open world, there's a lot of physics involved and a lot of realism. Even in the current mode, when you look at the damage model for the car, you will see that it actually reflects your in-game actual damage. And everything else is kind of, you know, pretty nice. I wouldn't want to say that this is the best looking game when it comes to driving games out there, but in all honesty, it is absolutely not that terrible. Okay, I wouldn't want to say terrible, I would want to say it's actually not bad at all. But yeah, these little tiny stutters are a force to be reckoned with, because they do happen, and specifically by the checkpoints. I'm not entirely sure why, but it kind of is how it is. Also, the checkpoint system is, even though quite liberal, and you know, as long as you hit the checkpoint you're fine, it's very easy to not hit the checkpoint, if that makes sense. So that kind of gives off a little bit of Forza Horizon vibes, where despite completely open vast Dakar, you are still bound to use the checkpoints, which I find a little bit funny at times, but outside of that, it's all fine. Also, how do you brake? I have no idea, don't ask me, so I need to resort to using handbrake and falling down behind everyone. So here you are. Now, this game currently, surprisingly, is for free on Epic Store, which begs the question, why? The game obviously is still selling like hotcakes on Steam, and Steam-wise it actually is not too expensive. It's about £24 if you want to get some DLCs under your belt as well with it. Now, I remember back in the day when Dakar Rally came out, it was one of those titles that everyone wanted to play, but no one really had it. Hence, I actually never had it as well, because of the same reason. So yeah, also don't skip the tutorials. I did skip the tutorial first, and it is how it is. But overall, I would want to say this is kind of nice. Specifically if you kind of prefer pretty realistic sound design in a game, because honestly I would want to say this is one of the best sounding games out there in comparison to every other game we actually played, which is a racing sim / arcade. And honestly, this game kind of leans towards sim more than arcade, which you can obviously, you know, fight me for it, but I would want to say it kind of feels like it's trying to be very professional, which is not bad. You know, it's, all things considered, games should be striving for it. And this is a relatively new title, as you might have noticed. I mean, it's 2022, so I would want to say it's absolutely fine. So yeah, let's have a new stage. This has not been pre-rendered or pre-cached before, because the previous race stage was. So we're gonna see how this goes. Now, for the professional drivers, you are probably just biting your pillow, going like, what the hell is he doing? He's doing all the wrong things. But the reality is, as you can see, while the level loads, we're dropping frames like crazy, and GPU usage is kind of all over the place as well. So I don't know. I don't exactly want to enable DLSS, because with DLSS there's only two ways it's gonna go. It's gonna be either absolutely fine and perfect, or it's gonna be exactly the same. So I would leave this to yourself. And if you want to read the community posts how this game feels or runs, feel free to head over to Steam page, feel free to head over to Reddit, and you can familiarize yourself with it. I'm taking all of these reviews with a bucket of salt, for the simple reason that, you know, for some people things always will work. You know, it's literally the good old "it runs fine on my rig." And for some people, even with the crazy specs, they're gonna be like, well, it doesn't work for me, you know, fix this, I'm gonna refund, and stuff like this. So honestly, I'm not taking a camp here. I'm just looking at my current experience. And honestly, I would say 4K epic settings, that's a big no-no for majority of the games to begin with. Like, you really need a very good, decent CPU. You really need your system to be up to the spec to push 4K. So playing in 4K, possible, but probably not on epic. The weird thing is that the GPU usage, like even now, it literally just dropped from 99 to 67% GPU usage, which for me usually means, well, that wouldn't be the CPU bottleneck to the extent of losing more than 30 frames for a second, and then it goes back to how it should be. It kind of tells me that there's something with the checkpoint system or the game engine that it kind of tries to either save your progress and cache it into the progress bar or up to the cloud save. I do not know. I kind of know what I'm trying to explain, but I hope you guys kind of get the idea, because it doesn't really stutter outside of these checkpoints. Like if you just drive about, it's absolutely fine. So you know, I think it's something there. But visually, I must say this game absolutely is not bad. You know, like it's definitely looks pretty nice, and in 4K it looks kind of cool. And surprisingly, we managed to finish with the podium, which is unheard of. Oh, 3-second split. Well, and a Hilux took over e-tron. I mean, I did screw up multiple times. Yeah. Oh well, it is how it is. So I don't know. Leave your comments down below. Tell me what you think about this game. Are you playing it? Are there any tips or tricks? And I'm not gonna leave you be, guys. No. What we're gonna do, in all honesty, we're gonna enable the DLSS and frame gen. And the reason I'm saying that is we're running tests here, right? So we need to know how it is. Currently we already are getting way more frames, which is good. Let's service the vehicle. Oh, I have enough points for that, so I'm absolutely fine. Let's start the stage and see how it goes. So obviously DLSS on automatic, who knows what is going to downscale, and frame gen will try to fill in the blanks. Now all of this should be handled by GPU specifically, I hope. So I truly hope I made the right call here. If not, we're gonna see it as well, and there's your answer. So yeah, I mean, minus the stutters, this would be something I would actually play on the weekends, you know? But the stutters are the one thing that really puts me off from any type of games.
2, 1, go. 1 kilometer. Prepare for time.
Okay, so we're at 130 frame range, and well, obviously that is already better than before. Let's see how many terrible mistakes we're gonna make with these frames. As long as we hit the checkpoints, apparently no one cares how you drive it and how you get there, which I do like. But yeah, a minimap would be slightly useful here, and I haven't seen a minimap yet. Also, you kind of really need to listen to your co-pilot, because instead of Colin McRae, where it says, you know, crest, keep left, keep right, they use slightly different co-pilot language here, which I'm not entirely familiar with. Then again, I don't drive in Dakar rallies, so I'm not too surprised about it.
1 kilometer. Prepare to turn right.
I would want to say, at the current moment, the performance is actually pretty decent. I mean, I can still kind of feel a hiccup here and there, but it's not as obvious as before, in all honesty. So I wouldn't say that, you know, oh my god, it's totally broken. Then again, frame gen and DLSS, that is some very serious, very serious change to the game itself for the performance. So it is how it is. And we kinda let everyone win. Well, that's also part of the fun. We're only halfway through the stage. And even with the frame gen on, we actually just dropped to about 100 frames from 120, which is around, again, the same 20% or 20 frame loss which kind of seems a little bit consistent.
Keep left. Cap 304. Danger 3. 2 kilometers. Prepare to turn right.
Big crash, and we literally crashed our frames as well. So yeah, it looks like it's kind of half golden ticket, to be fair, using the DLSS with the frames in. So I wouldn't say it's, you know, fixes everything. It's not like one size fits all, but it definitely did improve things. And visually, I don't see too many artifacts, but I believe I'm actually blind when it comes to DLSS artifacting, because I just don't see them as other people are able to spot, like the shimmer in the shadows or something else when they slow down the video a lot. So yeah, don't take my word for it, just take a look yourself. You could probably find something somewhere if you look for it hard enough.
Danger 3. 1 kilometer. Prepare for tight right. Careful. Keep right. Cap 290. Danger 3. 1
I'm
kilometer.
not sure why the brakes are not working when I'm braking. They're kinda... I'm getting brake lights, but the car is not slowing down. Is that like an electric car thingy?
Right. Cap 337. Danger 3. Keep right. Cap 337. Danger 3. 2 kilometers. Keep right. Danger 1.
Also, this car is overcorrecting like crazy. The fishtail effect is so mad.
Cap 350.
I would expect this with completely any other car, but not an all-wheel drive electronic one. Or fully electric, shall we say.
Stay on traces. Danger 3. You should be more careful.
That wasn't me, by the way. The car literally just picked apart on itself.
1 kilometer. Danger 1.
It's feeling like a go-kart. What's going on? Why did I brake so badly the car's unable to calm itself down?
1 kilometer. Prepare to turn right. Danger 3. Keep on traces. Danger 3. We made it, partner. We're on top.
Surprisingly enough, we actually did not have penalties for all the carnage. But yeah, this is the performance of this game. Took a little longer than I anticipated, but end of the day, it is how it is. So yeah, I would say pretty solid driving game. Probably I will get a lot of pushback for it, but it's just my opinion. But performance-wise, probably 4K is not the mode for this game. I would assume 2K is absolutely fine and should be fine. But yeah, DLSS and FrameGen definitely helped in comparison to the previous performance. So take that information as you want, and I'll see you all next time. Over and out.